My name is Kathleen Kuhn, and I'm a nurse at Boulder City Hospital. Roseanne has asked me to come and talk to you guys a little bit about safety and medication. Just some key facts that I think is important for you guys to know. Adverse drug events are the serious problem in the United States. 82% of American adults take at least one medication, and then 29% take 5 or more. And needless to say, yeah, the older we get, it seems like the more that we tend to need. 700,000 emergency room visits and 120,000 hospitalizations are because of adverse drug events. You know, we go to the hospital because we're having a reaction to our medication. $3.5 billion is spent in extra medical costs because of the adverse drug events. And then 40% of most of your outpatient doctor visits, urgent cares, those kinds of things are because of preventable drug events. Now, they're expecting that that could even increase because of a lot of the new medications that are coming out and because of the baby boomers. There's more of the older population now. So, of course, the older we get, the more our body is sensitive to the medications. Bodies change. The way we react to those medications, the side effects that might occur, the other medications that are happening, it all changes. And so for a lot of time, then that is why so many of the adverse drug events can take place in the geriatric population. But let me just make this real simple too. It's not just about geriatrics. It's about everybody. Well, a lot of people take Tylenol, myself included, and with that 78,000 ER visits are Tylenol related. That's a lot. 300 deaths a year occur because of Tylenol. There's 150 accidental deaths with Tylenol every year. Now, your NSAIDs like Motrin, ibuprofen, you guys have heard of those? Okay, and most of us will take those at some time because we need them. So I'm not saying you don't need to take medications. What I want you to be aware of is if the medications are not taken appropriately and you're not careful, medications can be very dangerous. Now, with the NSAIDs like the ibuprofen and Motrin, it's 4,000 deaths a year from those. After the age of 50, they encourage us to stop using the NSAIDs. They recommend that if you can use Tylenol or some other kind, because we know that with ibuprofen, Motrin, those kinds of things, one of the major side effects is GI bleeding. And so again, like I said, our bodies change as we get older. So we are more susceptible to that. Also, if you're on Motrin and you're on blood pressure medications, that is not a good thing. Anybody knew that? Anybody know if you had high blood pressure, you weren't supposed to be taking Motrin or ibuprofen? But yes, if you have high blood pressure, the Motrin can interfere with the way your kidneys react to that. So they recommend that then you use Tylenol. So there's certain things that you need to do with that. The one thing that you do is you talk to your doctor. And it's one of the things that it says is that medications can cause harm. Now again, I want to reiterate, medications are good. We need them. I'm not trying to tell you don't take them. I'm just trying to tell you be safe and make sure you know the facts before you do take them. Some of the things that we can do to prevent that harm, number one is ask our doctors about them. What are the side effects? What medications can I take and do I avoid? We want to keep a list of our medications with us at all times. When the doctor prescribes something new, he needs to know everything you're taking. So I've included this little piece of paper there. If you can write them down there. And I know for me that would never work because I write too big, but that's okay. Because in your paper I also included another one that is better because I can see it even without my glasses. So when you just keep it in your wallet, because when you go to any doctor's appointment, they always want to know that. Now let me tell you another little thing. Make sure if you take vitamins, if you take herbs, if you take anything like that, include that on your medication list. That becomes a major safety issue. So make sure you include that on your list. Fish oil. People think that that's real safe. Generally, fish oil is safe, and they talk about, all the benefits that it has and all that. But if you're taking blood pressure medications again, and then you take fish oil, your doctor doesn't know, or you just start taking it before you consult your doctor, it can make your blood pressure drop even lower. So that's why it's important that on your medication list, you list all of those things. That's very important. Vitamin D and calcium. Most women over the age of 50 are taking that. They start to recommend this. And I'm certainly saying, please do take it. We need it. It's good for us. Just make sure your doctor knows. Because what happens is if you're on diuretic, water pill, then it can also create kidney problems because the calcium is absorbed. Calcium can also affect the heart. So I'm not telling you don't take it. I'm telling you let the doctor know what you're taking. We need those kinds of things, and they're good for us. And a lot of times my doctor told me to start taking calcium. So I believe in it. But I also believe that when I go to another doctor or I'm referred out, that I need to make sure that's on my list so that they know, because I don't want them messing me up on that. The other thing, keep up with any blood test. A lot of people are on things like Coumadin, lithium I'm thinking about. I'm trying to think if there's some other medications that might need blood testing. Seizure medications, any of those where you have to check the levels, make sure you go for those appointments. You get those levels checked, because that is another danger. Pain relievers and antibiotics. We talked about the Tylenol, and you were asking about were people just taking the Tylenol irresponsibly. Well, let me answer that question, and I told you I'd get to it. The answer to that question is most of the time, no. I don't think anybody, sometimes they do, take an intentional overdose of medications. That's the suicide stuff, okay? But I think as a whole, we might overdose on Tylenol and some of this other because we don't understand directions clearly or we don't know. Pain relievers, hydrocodone, Lortabs, Percocet. Most of us have taken those for surgery or for some kind of pain. That has Tylenol in it. So if you're taking the Lortab when you're having surgery after surgery, and then you get that breakthrough pain, when it's not time for the next pain pill, but you need something, and then we reach for the Tylenol because we're going to just take something just to get us through to the next time we're taking a pain pill. Now we are overdosing on Tylenol, and that's one of those adverse events that takes us to the ER and can cause some liver damage. So those are the kinds of things that we need to know about. Antibiotics. We need to make sure that we take those exactly as directed. Antibiotics are good, but they can also be very dangerous. So we need to take them just like they're ordered. We need to make sure if it says take with food, that we take them with food. Otherwise, we can end up with a lot of stomach problems. You can end up with diarrhea and all those kinds of things, and we don't want that. I said I always like to talk about suicide because Nevada has the #1 suicide rate of seniors in the United States. I would encourage you, if you ever hear of any kind of educational things for suicide, they do all kinds of educational things in town about what happens if you realize your friend might be suicidal. Those are great classes, just how to work to get them help.